Hey Goobs, it's me, Jiv, aka the Red First, and I recommend today for some apparent reason. So, today's video is going to be kinda in the deep end for my 1 week hiatus anyway, and it's actually something that I've done a bit of, I won't say research, but I've done some like long scripts for it, kind of. I won't say long, but I would say like not short but not long either, you know, kind of in the middle for scripts, and it's, well, you've read the title, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's that furries shouldn't be responsible for bad actions, and whoa, I do understand that the furry who has done a bad action should be responsible, that's what I'm saying, but not the furry fandom in particular. Well, not all the time anyway. My point with this video is to try and get across that, because, you know, there's been well, I won't say a few, there's been a chunk of cases with furries and being bad. You know, like pedophiles, groomers, you know, degenerates, I guess, if you want to go that far. But my point with this video is not really to defend these people, because, you know, that's stupid, and no, I'm not defending these people in all sorts. I'm not defending, you know, anyone who's done bad shit. My point with this video is to try and get my point across that every furry in the furry community should not also be responsible for these bad community and actions and stuff. Well, not bad community, you know what I mean. Like, what this video is supposed to present is the fact that the furry fandom should not be responsible for a chunk of, you know, terrible people in our group. And to be honest with you, I can actually start to explain to why we get a, you know, I guess you would say a fair few of bad furries. And by the way, by all means, no, I'm not gonna trash any community. I'm not gonna trash anything, anyone, or anything in this video at all. There's gonna be no screenshots or anything, just a personal talk. But this video is a very topic that I've been wanting to do for a good few months now, so I want to be as neutral as possible as well during this video. Now, hopefully, this yap session is over, you know, this disclaimer, this yap session, whatever. But let's get into the main part of the video. In my opinion, furries shouldn't be disliked from the internet and being called terrible people because of, you know, other bad furries, and, like, in groups and stuff. And this is something that, to me anyway, I don't feel like we should be put into this circle of, well, hatred. I feel like there's a bit of a circle, anyway, of like people just not trusting or liking furries because they think, oh, well, a chunk of them are zoophiles or pedophiles and groomers, and that just isn't the case. And the whole reason why that misconception has even been brought up is mostly because of bad actions and stuff like that. We should be responsible as a community for, you know, neglecting these people in our fandom. Yes, we should. But we shouldn't be responsible for their actions in the fan, you know, what they've done. But we should have also, well, in my opinion anyway, we should also, like, take action to, you know, these bad furries, and just pretty much saying that, you know, they're not in our fandom. Like what more do you want us to do here? There's nothing else that we can do. It is kind of, like, annoying to deal with, though, because, you know, these bad furries do kind of ruin the fandom, but it also kind of adds this, you know, I guess you would say circle of bad people. But it's also like, with the furry fandom, with it only having, I think, around 1 million members or something like that, maybe, it's, you know, it's a very small space. But something to why we do get a lot of these bad people is actually because we're a very open community, and there's nothing we can really do about that. I'm going to be realistic with you, there's nothing that we can do. And the whole reason why is because it isn't like the anime community where you got to be like watching anime or something, you know. You don't really have to find a topic in the furry community. You can just, you know, poof, be a furry, simple as that. And that's one of the unique aspects of this community. Anyone can be one. I mean, heck, you can be one. It's not really that hard. With it, it also kind of adds that anyone and everyone can join, which can be a very bad name for us. And obviously that means that, you know, pedophiles, fucking disgusting people can join. I'm not going to keep saying the free shit groups. My point with it, though, is the fact that these people can join the fandom, but that means anyone can join, which, you know, is worrying, to say the least. I mean, heck, I think it's a bit worrying myself. has a furry, because you don't really know who you're trusting, you don't really know who's who, and you can't really determine, like, what's the best and what isn't the best. But it is also something that kind of puts off new furries as well, because, since anyone can be one, you could easily run into a groomer or something like that, and that's where shit can be a bit bad. But what we do as a community, I feel, is that we should call these people out, obviously, and I'm pretty sure many furries have done that before. And not only that, it is obviously quite known that we furries do not accept these disgusting people. We do not accept anybody like, Zumbas, zoophiles, pedos, groomers, you name it, we don't accept them. And it's pretty obvious as to why. I don't think a sane person would accept these people. But that's just like my point, is the fact that, yeah, we're gonna have shit people, but we don't accept them. So I think that's like as much as we can do, but we can also do a bit better, like, make an awareness of it, which is something that I'm doing right now, is saying that, they're not okay in our community, and I'm pretty sure most furries do actually accept that and agree. But another point with this as well, which is actually something that I thought of, because, with furries being responsible for bad actions and stuff, it kinda adds a lot of, like, a circle of hate because of these bad actions that so, like, these terrible furries have done, and it's that, we can't really enjoy this fandom as much. And it's like, if you go, I don't know, public suiting, yeah, you're most likely going to find some, well, at the very least, you're going to find some, like, kids who don't understand what a furry is and, make fun of you, but that's kind of like your average Joe at that point. But it's like, if it's like you go public suiting, if people think that, furries are around these, like, pedophiles, groomers, whatever, these bad people, guess what? It could lead to some terrible shit to happen to these people. And it kinda makes me think, why can't we enjoy this fandom? Sometimes it feels like I have a responsibility as myself, and probably many others, to, for this one terrible furry. Like, we have to be responsible for that, for those people, for those terrible fucking people. And it's something that I thought about myself. But it's like, nowadays it isn't as bad, because, people in the community don't accept them, obviously. So it isn't as big as a deal, but people still have that circle and bubble around, people thinking, oh, furries are bad people. And because of that one furry, our community has, got negative stereotypes because of all this stuff. But even though that there is also good people in this community, but they don't get heard as well, which is something that I don't understand as much, which is something that I get a bit confused about. Mostly because it's like, shouldn't we look at the more positive aspects, or what? And people don't really look at positive stuff online and on social media. That is a true fact. People prefer looking at negative stuff all the time. Hence why, if there's a lot of negative stuff around a group, even though we don't accept them, or these terrible people are going to still chuck rocks at it, or, pretty much chuck hate towards it. And it is something that is fucking terrible. And, people still bring up terrible furries to this day to explain their points and reasons to why furries are mostly bad, because, oh, look at all these cases of furries, and it's like, in reality, when you start realising it, it's kind of like, we're a small circle, we are a small community. Well, we're not like a small community, but you know what I mean. We're not like as big as the fucking population of the Earth, okay? But my point with it is the fact that, because we're so open, and because, we don't really have much restrictions as much, I will say that, but I mean, what else do you want us to do? We can't just cancel people for no fucking, well, cancelling people doesn't really work anyway, if they're, if they're not famous, you can't really cancel people, can you? It's a bit stupid. But that's like, with this, it's kind of like, you can't really do much about it. If they're a furry, guess what? They're a fucking furry. And even though that people, have said to these, bad people, oh, well, they're not in our fandom, they're not with us. And you know what? I actually agree with that. And also, I do actually have another final point, so, we're kind of coming at the end of the video, but it's something that has been clawing on me for ages, and I want to talk about it so much, but I feel like if I talk about it, I feel like I'm going to be, like, chucked in the gutter, pretty much. So I will now make a disclaimer and a quick, caution, is that if I am actually wrong with this statement, please say that I'm wrong, you know what I mean? And this is, like, with it, if it's like another community, most of the time, people don't ever talk about it, or like, they don't ever put the community in, in a bad spot. But if it was a furry community, for example, they would be put in a shit position for it, and people would start like making misconceptions, speculations, fear mongering, literally, about furries. And I think it's something that, to me anyway, that's something that I've noticed, but I'm probably most likely wrong with that statement of mine. But it's something that has been definitely on my mind for a bit, so it's something that I just want to quickly see if you guys actually agree or not. But with it though, it's like, they'll just chuck it under the rug if it's like another community of them furries, they'll just chuck it under the rug, or treat it, you treat the person with negativity and you're nothing to the fandom, you know what I mean? And it's something that I just generally feel. But furries aren't the only one with this stigma, I feel, but I don't have much research or knowledge on these other groups, so I won't say anything about it, but I will say there's been other groups who have the exact same, ways as furries, you know what I mean? They get the same treatment, and it's something that I think happens because, we're not really a fandom that can be easily understood, and we're also, a community that is kind of weird, and people take, with the unknown and weird and kind of make it a bit like a negative thing. So it kind of adds a bit of like a mysterious thing to it. Well, I've already said that, but you know what I mean by now. But with it, it's something that I generally do get, I do get curious and wonder about, is why do we get treated differently? And some people have good reasons to why, we get treated like, oh, it's the community's fault. Well, it's both the community and the furry's fault. And it's actually because, when you see so many cases of, like, bad furries and stuff, people start to, like, think, oh, well, I don't really know furries that much, I haven't really seen a furry, so, I'm gonna think it's that. And I think that's where people get a bit sensitive around furries. I will say that word, I will say snowflake and sensitive, I feel, because I do feel like not furries, I feel like non-furries who don't like furries get oversensitive around furries because they think they're, like, fucking groomers or something, and it's like it's so not true, honestly. It's fucking fake. But where it actually does mostly come from is because they've seen so many like bad people in our community, they're gonna automatically point and assume that. But it's kind of weird because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be neutral. I'm not gonna trash any community, but I do want to just say that I feel like there is other communities out there that have a lot of shit people, but they don't get the same treatment. And I'm pretty sure the whole reason why, they don't get treated like, oh, it's the community's fault, and they just think, oh, well, it's just the person's fault. It's the person who's in the wrong. It's not the community as well, is because I'm pretty sure it's because of, they're, the quite a normal community and the quite known. I do want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this video as well, because I generally do think, it is kind of an interesting point or topic in my opinion. It is a bit of a personal topic, but the only reason why is because I don't think I've seen any other furry talk about it. So like I say, this is just a shot in the dark, completely out of nowhere, so this video most likely won't even blow up. Or if it does blow up, it'll blow up in a negative light, most likely, and I will most likely be found out as wrong, and I will probably be cancelled in the next fucking week or something. We'll see. But I do want to say is that I'm not saying I'm saying these are my current opinions, but just so you know, my opinions can change. So, if I am wrong, like I say, you can always comment and, explain your reason down below. But anyway, I'm gonna go now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my video, and please give a lovely like or subscribe if you actually do agree, or if you actually like my sort of videos. But anyway, I will go now. This is Jiv, and I'm gonna disappear, so bye.